Some big love all the way from Kenya, Jimmy Wambua. Well, Jimmy, we've gotten to spend some time together over the last couple days, and I want you to share a bit of your story with these folks right now.
My name is Jimmy Wambua, and I grew up in a slum in Kenya. When I was 4 years old, my mother fell sick. I never knew my dad. And so she was confined to bed most of the day. And she could not go to the market and find food for us. Faced with starvation, I opted to go to the streets. And many other days I would wake up very early in the morning just to make it in time before the rest of the scavengers come. I roamed the streets hoping that somebody will hold my hand and release me from this situation. When I was 7 years old, I watched as my 10-month-old little sister died of starvation in the lap of my mother. The situation was becoming worse. And my mother, looking at the situation, she decided to donate us to relatives and go look for help. And so I was given up to a sister. And the situation was not any better because I was like the 8th child to join the table. I didn't know what will happen to me next. And that was my early childhood between the ages of 4 and 7.
So Jimmy, your mother goes away just to try to find help. So now your father, your mother not in the picture. Your situation is still very, very dire. But at the age of 8, something dramatic happened in your life. Share that with us.
That was the April of 1990. And my mother came back. And that night she said to me, Jimmy, God loves you so much. I've found some help somewhere. And tonight we shall be traveling 220 miles away from here in the direction of that hope. I remember when she came with new clothes for me, and as she was giving me a bath, she sobbed looking at how the poor health had ravaged my health. And so we got to this train, and for 12 hours we drove in the direction of that hope. And by the morning, we were at this Compassion project in partnership with the local Baptist church. And that's where I got registered as a little boy. And 4 months later, I received a letter, and please allow me to read it to you, because this defined the rest of my life, that who I am today. This letter is 19 years old and says, Hello, Jimmy. My name is Mark, and I'm 20 years old. I'm glad to have the opportunity to have a friend in Kenya. I don't know anyone outside of Canada. The reason I'm writing to you is because of a really important friend we have. You see, when I was younger, I didn't really know about Jesus, who he was. But last year, some people taught me about a great friend named Jesus. My life has changed. I really love this world and the people within it, all because of God's love for me and you and everyone. So even though you are halfway through the world, I know that God loves you and cares for you. He mapped my whole vision for life. He mapped my whole vision for life in these few words, because from then, my life is a different life. I'm at Moody Bible Institute right now, studying the Bible, to go back to Kenya and stand in the gap, in the same way Mark Hells from Canada stood in the gap for me. My mother died 6 years later after the sponsorship. It is the same time I got saved and knew what my sponsor meant when he said there's a real good friend in Jesus Christ. Right now, I'm sponsoring a kid in Haiti. She's 4 years old. That's the time that I was intervened at. And I think that's the time that I need to intervene to a child and change the whole course of their life. I am so grateful that Compassion, and through the ministry that they have across the world, has changed my life and who I am. I'm ready to stand in the gap for many others who just need somebody to stand in the gap for them.
Isn't that great? Here's a young man whose life was changed by the love of Christ being put in action through a young 20-year-old, and now he's standing in the gap and helping others. One question, have you ever talked to your sponsor?
No,
You have not?
no.
Well, would you like to meet him right now? Ladies and gentlemen, welcome Mark Hales, Jimmy's sponsor. You guys all right? I'm gonna try to talk. Jimmy is so touched right now. Mark, here, let's just turn this way real quick, guys. Mark, first of all, thanks for coming. And Mark, I have to ask you right now, all these years of supporting Jimmy, what does this moment mean to you?
I am absolutely in awe of God and of this fellow right here and what he has gone through.
Here you go, Jimmy. Well, obviously, folks, this is a very emotional moment, so we didn't script for me falling apart.